Welcome to a present from the past.
The show for all your paranormal needs.
Hello and welcome to another episode of A Presence from the Past. I am your host, Weldon. We will be taking this journey together. Unfortunately, Natasha was unable to make it due to scheduling conflicts, but as they say, the show must go on. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a location that I feel should be on everybody's bucket list as far as paranormal investigators, or if you're just interested in the paranormal, you should definitely check this place out. Set up they do ghost tours there. So check those out. Definitely get a chance to go view this place. It's located here in North Texas, not too far from Fort Worth. It's in a small town called Mineral Wells. And the history of Mineral Wells was a mineral water spring was found in Mineral Wells. And in those days, the mineral water was thought to have all sorts of curing agents in it for all sorts of ailments. Supposedly it cured headaches, arthritis, skin conditions, whatever. Everybody believed it had curing agents. So the town of Mineral Wells sprung up around it. And several years later, they decided that they wanted to build something in order to draw more travelers in. And they came up with the idea for the Baker's Hotel. Now, the Baker's Hotel was a it was a cross between just a regular hotel and a wellness spa for everybody to come and visit and get cured of their ailments. So construction started for it in, I want to say 1927, 1928. It finally finished construction and opened in 1929. Now, when this hotel opened, it was 14 stories tall and had 450 rooms. That is massive, especially in the 1920s, especially in a small town like Mineral Wells, where there are no other, large buildings. There may be a couple of other two-story buildings, but I think at the time that this came out, most places were probably one story. So driving up to Mineral Wells, you can actually still see this hotel towering over everything else in the downtown area. So they opened the hotel in 1929, and it instantly became a hit. Even with the stock market crash in 1929, this hotel started to take off. There was all sorts of actors and actresses came out to it, even some notorious people. Some of the people that came to visit, they had Glenn Miller out there, Lawrence Welk, um, Judy Garland, Lyndon B. Johnson came out there, and then there's rumors that the notorious Bonnie and Clyde stayed out there, which wouldn't surprise me because there's all sorts of rumors of them staying at all different types of hotels in Texas, especially in North Texas. So at the end, the hotel was doing great at the beginning in the early 30s, all sorts of popularity, everybody coming out. And one thing I forgot to mention about the hotel is they actually had a pool built out front that they filled with the mineral water from Mineral Wells. And that was a huge draw for a lot of people. It was actually the first pool built for a hotel in Texas. So that was also a very interesting, add-on to any experience that you had at the Baker Hotel. Um, in in the late 1930s, the popularity of the hotel started to decline, and that was due to modern medicine kind of taking over, and everybody's starting to realize that, hey, this mineral water, it yeah, it may help with something, but it's not. It does not cure everything like everybody thought it did, and people started seeing mineral water as the modern day snake oil from back in the Western times when people travel around. Oh, I got snake oil. It'll cure everything. It'll cure your arthritis. It'll cure your headache. Gunshot wounds, snake oil. They realized that it didn't cure everything. So, um, in the late 30s, you started having other medicines that started springing up, penicillin and other stuff that was actually helping illnesses. So the whole thought process of the mineral well spa and health spa started to decline. Now that only lasted for a little while because lo and behold, you got World War II right around the corner, and they opened up Fort Walters right next, or Walters. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's spelled with an O instead of an A, so it's Wolters. Walters, close enough. Um, and it became a large uh, base not too far from the hotel. So of course that brought in a lot of guests to the hotel. Now, Fort Walters was there from 1940 to 1945, and during that time, the hotel had kind of a second coming, if you will. And unfortunately, in 1945, when the base closed, once again, Baker started to see a decline in guests, and it started to. I mean, it really hurt them. It wasn't until 1951 that they reopened Fort Walters Base as a helicopter base, and Baker's Hotel had a second resurgence of popularity with the new base going in. However, that was also short lived. Well, actually, that lived a little bit longer than the actual base. Um, it lasted, I think it lasted about 6 years, and then in 1963, the original owners of the Baker's Hotel decided to call it quits. So they closed the hotel in 1963. An investment group then purchased the hotel and reopened it in 1965. However, I think one of the founding members of that organization that helped reopen it um, suffered a massive heart attack and died just a few years later, and the hotel was once again closed in 1972. Now, since 1972, I know into the late 80s, they were doing tours so people could come through and see the hotel, and but nobody was actually upkeeping the hotel or cleaning it up, and they would just have these tour groups come through. So the building pretty much started to look dilapidated after the late 70s or even early 70s. Um, and there has been a couple of attempts to restore the Baker's Hotel to its former glory, um, and make it once again a drawing or a tourist attraction for mineral wells to draw in those potential guests. Um, in 2008, they started a reconstruction. What's the word I'm looking for? They started rebuilding it, and they were planning on reopening it, but funding fell through. Other things started happening, and it got dropped. Well, in recent news, a couple of years ago, in 2019, a new group took over and started to redo a lot of the reconstruct the Baker's Hotel, and it's currently under reconstruction here in 1922 or 1922. God, I'm old. In 2022, I've read somewhere that there are plans by 2024. So if it is if they are able to have it open by 2024, I would love to go stay there and just experience it and view everything. It is a very beautiful looking building. Take away the creepiness of it because yes, it does look creepy, especially since it's been sitting there for so long and left untouched for so long that it does have a creepiness factor about it. But it is a very interesting place, and there's a lot of interesting stories attached to it. Now that I've given you the history of the Baker's Hotel, um, let's go into some of the stories about the Baker's Hotel. I don't even need my notes because I love the Baker's Hotel so much that I remember a lot of the stories about it. So one of the biggest ghosts attached to the Baker's Hotel, and I'm not saying biggest ghost, but like one of the main stories that's attached to the Baker's Hotel is a woman. She's on, I want to say the seventh or eighth floor, um, and there are reports of seeing her apparition. Some people have smelled her perfume. Some people have heard her, say different words, call her names. That's another little thing that's a little spooky about this Baker's Hotel is several of the paranormal activities that have happened have been reports of people hearing their own names spoken to them, like calling them, and that's a little creepy. I mean, if I had heard a ghost say my name, or a voice out of nowhere, it's like, "Well, come here." I'd be like, "Nope, you know my name. That's nope, 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 no." So this woman that's attached to the Baker's Hotel was supposedly the mistress of one of the managers, and he put her up at the hotel to keep her away from his wife and whatever. And the stress of her being in this relationship with a manager and not being able to go out in public about how they feel for each other and whatnot. The having to hide their relationship eventually drove her to the point where she jumped out the window from the balcony and landed next to the pool below. Um, so that's one of the entities that is said to haunt the Baker's Hotel in Mineral Wells, Texas. Another entity is of an employee that died. I think it was there was a man that died of a horrific elevator accident, and it is said that you can see his apparition as well, obviously around the elevator area. I don't think it's attached to one specific floor, but it is attached to that specific elevator. Now, those are the two main entities. And the other entities are from the wellness spa area because, yeah, people wanted to believe that this mineral water was helping them, curing them, but unfortunately, some people still passed away because they put all their faith in this mineral water to help cure them. That, let's face it, mineral oil is not a cure-all. It does help with some things. It does have some medical benefits on certain things, but it's not a cure-all. And these people were, expecting it to cure cancer or whatever. And unfortunately, some people passed away. And I think there was a story of a small child that the parents took there, and the child ended up passing away. So there's rumors that if you go down into the wellness spa area, you can actually hear voices of people talking, like they're in a room next to you, like carrying on a full conversation. Um, there's rumors that you'll hear children's laughter, or you'll hear children playing up and down the halls. Um, and again, as I've said many times before, for some reason, the thought of child spirits just that creeped me out more than anything, and I don't know why, but that's just one of the things that kind of gets to me. So other entities, no, other stories attached to the hotel include guests that have come in for the tours during the late 80s, early 90s, people getting lost and separated from the tours and seeing apparitions, hearing the children, hearing the other voices in the other room. I think there was one lady that even saw like a old hotel worker that was rushing about, and there was no hotel workers there at the time. So, and then she was able to somehow make her way back into the group later. I think there was even a story of a woman that went on tour there with one of these tours and ended up disappearing. They don't know if she left on her own, she got scared, left, or if something happened to her. But I think it was shortly after that they stopped having tours of the place because the publicity was getting bad. Now, some of the other interesting stories, we actually, well, let me tell the other ones and then I'll get into the more personal ones. Now, I said back in 2008, there was a construction crew that was there renovating. That was the word I was trying to think of a long time ago, and it just hit me out of the blue. There was a construction crew that was renovating, and they would come in, and tools wouldn't be where they left them. They were like moved completely different ends of the construction site, or moved wherever, but they were not where they left them. And some of the rumors I've heard is that there was enough activity going on that it actually scared away some of the employees that worked for the construction company. Makes it interesting. I mean, how would you like to be in construction and go into work and your tool belt is not where you left it? Your maybe the project you're working on has been moved to another room, and you know exactly where you left it. Nobody's been there since. So stuff like that, yeah. But now there is a new construction crew working on renovating it. They started in 2019. Again, hopefully they'll have it reopened by 2024. But this is the second time that the construction crew has gone in and tried to renovate it. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully they are able to get the Baker's Hotel back up and operational. That would be awesome. Excuse me. Now, I am a member of ASIP, and there is a location that is not too far from Mineral Wells Hotel. It's about 100 yards. We had the opportunity to go out and investigate this place, and I won't name names, but there was a lot of buildup that this place was so haunted, and the owner of the place was even telling us stories that other investigators haven't been able to stay the night. They run out scared in the middle of the night. They were, screaming, and they can't stay the full night. We went there. We did our investigation. We stayed the whole night, and we only caught one, maybe two EVPs from the whole investigation. And we actually have more issues with the owner of the place. I don't know if he's still the owner of the place or if he sold the place or what, but we actually had more issues with the owner of the place, because whenever we go in and do an investigation, we always ask the people to leave, at least for a little while, or if they're willing to stay, they just have to be quiet and not get in our way while we're doing the investigation. And we always invite them to come back after the investigation to join us in for, kind of a questions round that we set up meters and we sit around and ask questions and try to get responses. But while we were investigating this place, the owner had a RV that was off to the side of the property, and he was staying in that RV. Well, we're sending groups in to do investigations, and in the middle of the night we start hearing dragging sounds. What is that? And for the safety of our crew, me and our group leader went to investigate, and the owner had a battery on the front porch that he was dragging across the front porch. And it's like, why are you doing this? And he's, my battery died in my RV. It's like, you didn't think to tell us or ask us for help. We're nice people. We'd help you put a battery in an RV, but you pretty much destroyed a nice little chunk of any possible evidence that we could have caught during that time frame, because we have to write it off that there was somebody outside making noises. Anyway, during that investigation, we had a breaking point, and me and several of the investigators decided to walk over to the Baker's Hotel and do kind of a quick one round on the Baker's Hotel. I do not recommend going there in the middle of the night. I do not recommend any sort of vandalism or anything like that, because that's just wrong. But I will also say that Mineral Wells Police is very proud of the Baker's Hotel, because, like I said, we were just walking around it because we were in awe of being right next to it. And we had the police circle the whole building probably about 3 or 4 times while we were walking around it. And so, but while we were out there, we had talked to some of the other people that were kind of in the area, and there's a bank that faces towards the Baker's Hotel, and they were telling us stories of where the employees would come in and see certain windows open at certain times and come back a little bit later and that same window would be closed. keep in mind, nobody's been in the upper floors for many years because of all the damage that have been done to the floors up top. So now you have windows that are opening and closing on their own. You've had people that have gone on tours in the place that have come up missing. You've had people that have gone on tours and heard things. You've had construction workers that have left the site because they get freaked out by something that's going on. You've had hotel guests and employees back when it was open witness full-on apparitions. So yeah, it seemed like a drawing point that would just make me want to investigate it so much more. And it's such a massive place; it would take several days in order to do a full investigation, full proper investigation of the Baker's Hotel. But once I get it open again, I got my fingers crossed that I'm going to be over there. All right. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Check out our website, presencefromthepast.com. Check out our Facebook, A Presence from the Past. Instagram, same thing, A Presence from the Past. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what type of videos you want me to continue doing. I can continue with more of the Texas Legends videos. I can also maybe dive into some investigative techniques that ASAP uses, and proper investigative techniques. But yeah, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you want to see more videos like this, definitely hit a like. If you want to see more videos of ours all together, please hit the subscribe button. And as always, thanks for joining us.